Banners Broker, and much has been talked about Banners Broker on this programme over the years. But now it just has all gone, as they say in the business, belly up. Conor Ryan, the investigative correspondent from the Examiner, has this on the front page this morning. He's in the Isle of Man at the moment, where the whole thing fell apart. Thousands of Irish investors have been left counting the cost after the company behind Banners Broker was wound up, owing millions. Liquidators appointed to Banners Broker yesterday, following a hearing in the Isle of Man. More than 12,000 Irish people had some money, might only be a few hundred, might be a few thousand, put into this Banners Broker thing. And now it's gone. It's belly up. And it looks as if thousands of them are going to lose all their money.
Cork's 96 FM. Call PJ Coogan now. 1850-715-996.
Right, let's go to this Banners Broker story, which is in the Examiner this morning. It's a story that's been covered extensively on the show over the last couple of months, and indeed the last couple of years, and about people investing in Banners Broker, and maybe some of them getting money back, and maybe some of them not getting money back. And then on the front page of the Examiner this morning, we hear the story that the pyramid scheme, the suspected pyramid scheme as it is, has now all been wound up. It's all gone. And the thousands of people may have lost quite an amount of money. In the Isle of Man, watching all that develop yesterday, was Conor Ryan, the investigative correspondent of the Examiner, and he's on the phone now. Conor, good morning.
Good morning, PJ.
How are you, sir? Now, bring me up to speed on this. This has gone on for a few years. People put money into Banners Broker in the hope of getting something out.
It would have peaked in about late in 2012, early 2013, when people would have been, I suppose it would have been a lot of meetings, particularly a lot of meetings around Cork and Limerick and Kerry, in which people would have been putting substantial amounts of money into Banners Brokers in the belief that they were buying a space on the internet, a space on an unknown website, which would then be sublet out for people to put advertising on, and that they would take a cut of that advertising. But crucially, one of the key features of the scheme was that their ability to earn profits was maximised by the amount of people they invited to or subsequently referred to Banners Brokers. So if a friend of yours invested after you on your recommendation, your profits or your ability to make profits increased because of their investment. And that was, I suppose, a key and very troubling feature of
That was a bit
Brokers.
like the Amway thing, wasn't it, years ago? You brought other people into the circle.
Exactly. You bring other people into the circle. You pay, and there's more out there. This is the only one by a long stretch of the imagination. But I suppose they come in so many different guises. Some relate to property. This one related to internet advertising. And because it was so technical, and because I suppose it bamboozled a lot of people in terms of the presentations and in terms of the fact that people really made sense. I suppose their key message was Google makes money from advertising on the internet, so why can't you? And I suppose we know Google makes a hell of a lot of money from advertising on the internet. So if you don't know a lot about the internet, it sounded like a fairly straightforward marketing pitch.
Am I right in saying, Conor, that pyramid selling is illegal? So
Under
how
the
do they disguise it?
Under the 2007 Consumer Protection Act, running a pyramid scheme or being part of a pyramid scheme is illegal. They disguised it in that they said that, and when I referred to earlier the fact that it was reliant on the key feature of a pyramid scheme is it's not reliant on what you're selling, it's relying on new investors coming in below you, and that's it. So they were effectively saying that no, they were playing down that. I suppose in some quarters they were playing down that feature and saying that their income came from selling advertising space on the internet, but they would never show the websites that were linked to. They would never say, they would never give an example. They would never give another website. They would never kind of show a specific piece of advertising anywhere on the internet that was actually linked to Banners Brokers. And that was a key problem that we ran into them a number of times, just the lack of clarity and the lack of facts. There were some referrals made to the National Consumer Authority, which would be the agency that would look after this, but no investigation was launched in Ireland.
It was a kind of a brazen thing, wasn't it, Conor? It was a case of, well, if you think we're a pyramid scheme, go and prove it.
And unfortunately, that's exactly the onus is on that. That you do have the onus to prove it's a pyramid scheme or show it's a pyramid scheme.
So what happened yesterday, anyway, just to bring us up to speed?
What happened yesterday was a number of investors in England had been contacting a firm of solicitors in London and wanted them appointed joint liquidators. And a second company, Targus Holdings, which in the Isle of Man, a lot of companies would have holding companies. You'd set up a company, but you'd put all the secretarial services in a nominee company, which is what the Isle of Man specialises in. And that company didn't really want to have anything to do with Banners Brokers, didn't like where it was going, and felt that its name was attached to it. So it also applied for liquidators to be appointed to Banners Brokers. So the company, I suppose, was a stop was put on the company and the company's assets. It found that the €6 million assets, or $6 million, and it didn't specify in court whether, and it hasn't specified afterwards whether they're Canadian dollars or US dollars. But the impression was given that it was US dollars. That there was $6 million, no company secretary, no offices, and nobody to represent it, and the company was in absolute and utter complete limbo. Nobody to run it and nobody to do anything with it. So the liquidator was appointed to those. Now, obviously, it would be the liquidator's job to assess if there are other assets in the company that they're not already aware of beyond that $6 million. But it will also be their job to assess the claims of creditors, and that would include investors who have put money in and who would be expecting to, who would at least be expecting to get their investment out.
I'd be inclined to suspect that $6 million, be it Canadian or American dollars, is about, as you said today in your article, about €4.5 million. That won't even cover what was put in by Irish people, let alone anybody else.
It sounds, you're right, it sounds like a big figure until you break it down and you say, okay, well, that's actually 6,000 people, $1,000 to six, or for whatever, to
I get your point, yeah.
To get 6,000 people, and like there was 12,000 investors in Ireland. There was a multiple of that in England, and there was others. Like you go onto the internet, you can see people as far afield as India, Canada, America, who were all involved in this. So to suggest that 6 million is somehow going to appease everybody is stretching it, considering there will also be liquidation costs, court costs, and the former contractor over in England has had a successful cost claim against the company, and he was put in as a preferential creditor yesterday. So, it isn't an awful lot of money, considering some people would have substantial amount of cash that they would have put in, or at least be expecting to get back out of Banners Broker.
Now, we did cover the story extensively here over the last couple of years, and we spoke with people who had invested money, people who had made some money, and people who'd lost some money. But it certainly doesn't look as if anybody's going to get a whole lot out of this pot, does it? Not now. And I suppose the only thing is, at least there are liquidators, at least there's independent, honest liquidators who will have to, assess the claims properly, and you're not kind of fighting with the company on that score. But certainly people did say at the very start that they did make money, but unfortunately that's a feature of pyramid schemes. It is.
It's the people who get in first make money, but that doesn't make it legal, and it doesn't make it right, because very often those people have then subsequently referred on friends or colleagues or, business partners back into this, and it's the second, third and fourth rung of the that have got stung on this as they have got stung on others. So is this have to face up to them?
Yeah, is this the end of Banners Broker, Conor, or will we hear more?
Well, there's been no response from the company, and we don't know if it will kind of pop up in another guise. It's been promising to launch a new version of Banners Brokers in mid-March, but people haven't been getting answers from the company. It obviously shut its Irish office. Nobody works for it here anymore. It hasn't really been trading. It's everybody who refers questions to it has been just told about this new version that's going to be launched in March, that was originally supposed to be launched last year, in the middle of last year. So it doesn't seem to be progressing, but I suppose while there are new customers and while there are new investors to get out there, it's still, affiliates or people are still out there trying to get more people involved with it. So, but it has been told to cease trading, and this holding company is in liquidation. So whatever form Banners Brokers takes, it's going to have to at least set up somewhere else, or come at it from a different guise.
It's definitely a case, isn't it, Conor, of there is no such thing as easy money on the internet or anywhere, and beware of what you do.
I set a functions up in the Vienna Woods, and there was other hotels and other functions, and people were told you are guaranteed to make profit and do it this way and you will make fourfold profit. Nobody can guarantee profit.
No, they can't. All right, listen, Conor, thanks for that. Well explained. Good man yourself. Cheers. Conor Ryan of The Examiner reporting to us there from the Isle of Man on the demise of Banner's broker.
PJ Coogan
on Cork's 96 FM.
1850 715 996.